Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web. And when we left off last time, these have been base coated. Since then I've give them a wash over with the Agrax Earthshade. This barbarian doesn't want us to turn around. So I give them a wash with Agrax Earthshade, and now it just needs them to be highlighted. So let's get cracking, shall we? So first of all, we'll start off with the rat skin flesh, and take a little dollop of that. But he decided he just wants to start having a whinge now, so I don't know what he's after. And there we go. Let's find a punch I can on that. And let's get cracking. First up. Pick up the hands. There we are. And next, there. There we go. And there's his flesh done. What I want to do now is using the fang. I'm going to do what I did last time on the last video for highlighting, if you remember. And just add a bit of the fang to, well, not a bit of the fang, not quite a bit of the fang, to the colour we've just used. The idea being dull down the colour. That will do fine. And we'll use it to just waft over the hair. Right. Also use, I don't know what, I will keep it at that. I will use just a touch more of the fang. and a little of the where are you? Rhinox hide, if I can find it. Just a small amount of that. Just to change the flavour again of it. And this time we're going to be doing on this bit along his back. So we want as little paint as we can on the brush and just waft over. And we'll do the same on the front as well. There we go. Now as for the hair, there's going to be paler grey on there anyway, so that doesn't matter. But if you remember the last video, I was trying to work out what the different dark reds that Games Workshop did. I have Scab Red, and there was another one that I wasn't sure of. Well, I've found it out, and if you watched my last video, you'd know that I'd added the name to the video itself. It was Red Gore that I was thinking of. It's now called Wazdaka Red. What a name. But we're going to be using Scab Red and just doing a little bit of picking out of detail of his sash here. Hope you can see that. It's not a tremendously vivid colour, but that's all it needs. There we are. And finally, for his clothing, using the Screaming Skull and changing brushes, we're going to be highlighting the tallow and sand. So we're just using Screaming Skull, we're not using tallow and sand. And we're just going to be going over a few pieces here and there. I get the feeling that could be metal, but it doesn't matter. If it's metal, it's painted, I've decided. There we go. And you may have noticed that I'm not doing as much highlighting as I normally do on my figures. I usually tend to do a bit more highlighting, but as I've said previously in videos, I want these to look grubby, I want them to look dirty, as though they've been fighting and trekking all over the place and causing misery and mayhem wherever they've been. So there's no point in making them look really nice. What we just want to do is make them look as though the what's that? Make them look as though they've been well, not as though they've been, as though they could do with a really good wash. And that's the idea. And by wash I mean using soap and water if they were real actual characters and not Agrax Earthshade. Okay, so that's slight more highlights on the hair just to make it a bit brighter. Because what I'm going to do with that in a sec, when it's finished, is I'm going to be going over that with Nuln Oil to dull it down completely, make it look really lank and lifeless and horrible and nasty and ish. Okay, what do we need next? Well, I'm thinking of, where are you? The old snakebite leather. In fact, I think the old snakebite leather is Balor Brown now. So I'm going to use Balor Brown. Going to use Balor Brown, just a spot of it, and a bigger spot of it, and I'm going to use a spot of the bit more of the Rhinox hide, again just to lighten the change the flavour of it, make it just a touch darker, so that I can, it needs washing. The brush needs washing. Here we go, noisy sods outside. Okay, there we go. And just go over the boots, make it look as though they've just been stomping through mud and dirt. Give them that leather look, that brown leather look. There we go. That's that done. Give that a bit of a highlighting to the same colour. Now let's move over to the Chieftain, because he has that bit more in the line of leather look to highlight. So I'll highlight his boots, and then the straps on his arms here. It's holding the wrist guard on, and I think that's about it for leather here. I thought there was a bit more, but obviously there's not. What I may do though is use the same colour to highlight the dark flesh I've used, and that's that. Okay, I'm glad I finished that one though, because I've run out of paint for it. Now we're going to do a little bit of a change on this. Usually I paint metal with tin bits and then go over it with bolt gun metal. Well, I've decided to have a little bit of a change on this one, see how it works. I'm using the tin bits again. I'm going to mix a bit more of it. I'm going to use a bit more of it, but I'm going to be using it with, when I can find it, I'm going to be using it with the bolt gun metal. Just to see what kind of colour I can come up with, because I don't want anything that's going to be really bright on top of this, but I don't want anything that's going to be really dark. I just want something that's going to be nice in between colour. That could well be it. Maybe the colour I'm looking for. And I'm going to be going over all the armour and the metal on the Berserker. Oops, I've just gone over his arm as well, so I'll have to go over that again. Oops, sorry, I've gone off camera. There we have it. So it's not one that's a really bright vivid colour like just plain bulk metal. It's muted down with the use of the tin bits. I'm going to add a little something to that design there, but for now, for the moment, I'm going to say that that is almost finished. I'm going to do a little bit more on here using the same colours. I'll use it. I don't want to do a great amount of the metal with this colour, just a small amount, because I want to change using different colouring. I've just realised I can use that colour on his sword. So I don't want it bright. I want it dull, but I don't want it too dull. And that's his sword done. I think I'll do the same on his wrist guard here as well. And I believe I should have done that in tin bits. Never mind. I shall go over it now. Oops, I've gone off again. Okay, there we are. So that bit's done. Next one I'm going to be using is a little bit brighter colour. It's again, it's a metallic colour, and it's Ironbreaker. And just give it a shake. Make sure it's all mixed in. I'll use a slightly smaller brush for this. It's not that what I'm doing. Okay, enough with the falling down. Okay, I will use this on this piece of armour. Don't think there's anything more. I might actually do these studs going round in it. On the back there are. It's just a case of gently waft over. And I've decided I'm going to do his helmet as well in this one. There we are. This is a bit done. What I haven't done is the highlighting on his flesh. So let's get cracking with that. I'm going to spin my palette round a touch so I've got some space to play. And using again the bestial brown that we used as the base coat, put that in there. And instead of using Screaming Skull, I'm going to be using Balor Brown. Okay, so let's start here. And as always, it's just pick out the raised areas. Pick out the areas that's going to be in light. Don't bother with anything that's going to be in shadow. I say this time and time again, but it's the one thing you really want to remember, so it's the one thing I really want to make sure I'm getting across. That the highlights are bits that's exposed to light, not every little piece of raised, and not every little raised area. There we go. And the reason, thinking about it, the reason I thought that a slightly darker skin tone for the Chieftain is, I suppose that he would be the one who'd be outside marshalling the troops. You know, he'll have proved himself as being worthy of the job and all that by working, you know, building himself up all the time outside in the sun and on the bad weather, and his skin's got all hard, thick and leathery. If you know what I mean. It's possibly an older orc as well, so that could explain it as well. Now I've noticed on this I've gone over a couple of places with the blooming metallic colour, so I'm just going to do a few spots here and there with the rat skin flesh. I'm not going to do much, it's just in case of to hide the metallic colour that I've splashed over. And there we have it. There we go. So that's those two done. Next, using the Screaming Skull again, we will be highlighting the talent sand that we put on this Chieftain, and that will be sort of like a spot here. Will be the drops on the wrist wrap, and it will be this bit. So I'm not looking for perfect highlighting, in this respect. I'm looking for something that's going to look as though it's filthy. But we need a little bit of something just to break it up. Okay, and finally, at least I think I'm finally, we will do and get the red, scab red, and just go over where we've done the MacLeod red, just to darken it up a touch. I won't really say highlight, but there we are. And I think I'm going to call him finished. In fact, no, I won't. Not yet. Not quite. Not quite. I'm going to turt up just that bit of armour on the front. I forgot about that bit until I looked at it properly through the camera. And what I'm going to use is, when I can find it, hash up copper. And it's just a case of wafty 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 wafty. Waft over the edges of the red parts and the little studded things. They will take off the paint where it wants it. And there we go. There we have now a finished Orc Chieftain, and I will have just as soon as I've done this. There we go. One finished Orc Chieftain, looking much better than Wizards of the Coast attempt. I think, while I've got this Ashrock copper out, I'm going to do what I've done in the past with the other figures, and other knobbly bits on the shoulders. I'm going to do with this as well. I think it just breaks it up a little bit, makes it look just that bit more interesting. There we are. Okay, that's that done. Oh, I did say I was going to do something with that little design, didn't I? I'm going to do it with this. And here we go. Just straight up the edge of the axe, and then the little mountain design. Same again on this side. Bippity boppity boo. Done. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 orcs down. 1, 2, 3, 4 orcs. Well, sorry. 3 orcs, 1 wereboar, an owlbear, and an ogre to go. So, until next time, take care, God bless, and bye for now.